Hey everybody, AJ here. This is part one of a creature feature. I'm going to be doing a description of the roper and how to use it most effectively as a dungeon master. The part two video is going to be making a roper from scratch. I'm actually about halfway through it at the moment. I just had to pause because I ran out of glue stick. I know, shameful. So, the roper. For this description, I'm going to be using the roper that I've been using from the 5th edition playtest, the last package, which lists the roper as a large monstrosity. It's got an armor class 11, it's got 153 hit points, so it is a brute. It's a stealth and ranged attack specialist that specialises in controlling all of the multiple targets around it. It can make a couple of tendril attacks with these tentacles that come out, and it can also reel in a person per round as well, and it's got a nasty big bite attack. It's got a big central eye and a big maw that opens up and bites. The bite attack is quite nasty. It's 48 plus 4 piercing damage, or 22 points if you're just using a straight flat attack. It can reel people in 25 feet per round. It's got a striking distance of 50 feet, 50 foot long tentacles. That's a wide area of effectiveness for this critter. It's got tremor sense out to that 50 feet as well, so it can sense anything in that area moving. Which makes it very nasty because it's very hard to sneak up on something when it can feel you coming. It's also got dark vision out to 30 feet with this large central eye, so eyesight's not necessarily its strong suit, although it does have a very big eye, very obviously in the centre of its head. The main strong suit of the roper is its adaptability and its stealth, and the fact that it can control everybody with those tendrils. The tendril attacks, it would normally have a surprise attack on you because it's stealthed when you come into its area. It's a DC 17 intelligence or wisdom check to spot this thing, so that's pretty high. So it's very good at hiding itself as a stalactite or stalagmite or rocky formation, or some others which I'll talk about in a second. The first thing it'll do is it'll hit you with these tentacles, which will snake up and wrap around you really quickly. It doesn't actually say how, but it has a sort of a pseudo-paralytic effect, which reduces your strength to 1. So you've got a -5 on any grapple check, a post-grapple check, against its strength of 18. So it's got a +4 and you're at a -5. So you're at a huge disadvantage on that. So when you're wrapped up by this thing, it's going to be reeling you back 25 feet in a straight line towards its maw. Now, so that's the basics of what a roper is. So I'm going to go into some clever ways that you can adapt and use the roper. First of all, get the environment right in the players' heads. Describe where they're moving through the place, in the cavern or forest or dungeon or town, street or sewer, wherever they are. It could even be underwater. There's no reason why this thing couldn't be underwater. It doesn't necessarily need to breathe. And have it so that you're describing the terrain around them, and then all of a sudden these tendrils attack, and they have no idea what the tendrils are attached to. They probably don't have the wherewithal to suddenly identify, unless they've faced a roper before, they won't have any idea why this thing is attacking them. They're rare, aberrant creatures. And so they could be dealing with these tendrils for quite a while before they realise that there's a central creature which is controlling them all. They don't necessarily spot this critter straight away, and there's no reason why the roper would automatically drag them towards its jaws. I mean, it doesn't want to give away its position straight away. It may just want to bat them round, pick them up, slap them against objects, pick them up in the air, drop them, sweep its tendrils across and slam them into sharp objects or rocks or over precipices or whatever. It may even use its tendrils to pull things down onto their position, throw rocks. Yeah, it may even use its tendrils to wrap around objects that they're carrying and tear them away, disarm them. The roper is an intelligent creature. It's got an intelligence of 7, so it's not brilliant, but it does speak. It speaks Common and Terran, and it's got a neutral evil or a true selfish alignment. So it will make alliances with anything that serves its purposes. So all it really needs is a safe place to hang out and some food on a regular basis, and it's happy. Um, so how would I use a roper? I'd have it in a place that the players don't normally expect. Maybe the first time they come across a roper would be a classic environment. They're in a dungeon, they're in a cavern underground, there's stalagmites and stalactites and there's things hiding among them. I may even mix it up a bit because the players my players at least, have faced a roper before, so it may be on the roof, and the tendrils may be hanging down and look like either tree roots or fungus filaments or vines, something. So they don't necessarily, not just the roper's main body itself is disguised, it could disguise those tendrils as well. And you can get really weird and crazy. I would encourage you to get weird and crazy with this thing. So you could have it as, let's see, a roper that's living in a dungeon and it has been hanging out with a dragon. It's a long-time companion of the dragon and talking buddy, and the dragon trusts it enough because the roper has no real use for treasure. The roper has stuck gold coins and gems all over itself and is living amongst the treasure pile, a favourite talking companion of the dragon, that the dragon leaves behind in its lair to guard its treasure while the dragon is away hunting. In exchange, the dragon will occasionally come back and give the roper some food, so the roper is perfectly happy. The roper has taken it upon itself to study spell books in its spare time, flipping through the pages with its tentacles and holding it up amongst its eye. It has learned to read and can cast basic cantrips. Why not? Let's see, another roper could be an alchemist's companion. The alchemist feeds it stray cats and things from the area, and the roper is disguised as an annex on the side of the alchemist's building. Its tendrils are disguised as gutters and plumbing all throughout the building. Why not? You can have a roper which is a companion of a bunch of wild elves or perhaps pygmies, just rewrite some goblins. It has disguised itself as a large tree stump and its tendrils are roots. It could use picked up branches and logs and things. It could even have learned how to operate a bow and arrow using its tendrils. Why not? It's an intelligent creature. So yeah, you can use ropers all sorts of different ways. Have them use those tendrils to drag people through broken glass, drag them underwater, pick them up in the air and drop them, sweep its tendril across a rope bridge and knock them into a chasm. It can easily reach down and grab their broken remains afterwards. It doesn't care whether they're alive or dead when it eats them. Don't necessarily have it chewed up by that thing straight away. Don't necessarily have it a savage creature which will attack on sight. You can negotiate and talk with ropers. It's probably got enough intelligence to realise if a party of adventurers has mowed through a gorgon and a flock of harpies, they're a significant threat, so it may want to negotiate first. It may be able to tell you all sorts of stuff about the environment that it's in. Could be a good companion itself. Particularly if you want to give it food. It will do anything for its own purposes. Anyway. Yeah, so bear in mind that ropers can climb around. They've got a speed of about 10. They can climb up any surface. They can move during combat. They're very stealthy. They can pick up and move. If they distract people, they can hide again so that you can't see them. There's no reason why they couldn't shift their appearance and disguise themselves as a bit of wall, then a stalagmite, then a stalactite, then blend into a waterfall, look like some mossy rocks, blend themselves into the bottom of a creek bed, anything. They are specialists at doing that sort of thing, so why not? Yeah, so the roper, very cool creature. Give it some sort of a guttural voice when it talks. I'd imagine with that big maw. Go crazy with its accent. Have yourself speak backwards, like, or maybe even a really weirdly high-pitched, squeaky voice when it talks, which just puts the character's nerves on end whenever this thing says anything to them. Have it give them real dire threats about chewing them up and sucking the marrow out of their bones. Go nuts with it. You can have ropers that are quite crazy or surprisingly urbane. Who knows? Who knows? Also, if the players are familiar with ropers or you've used them against them before, give them some weird sort of aberrant, monstrous traits that are outside the norm. I always like varying aberrations, so that beholders don't necessarily always have the eye rays and things which are listed. I even had a blind beholder once that used telekinesis almost exclusively. So it's got a large central eye, and going with the theme of the roper, it might have some sort of a natural charm effect, which is a gaze attack. So if it opens that eye, it can pull you towards that more just as effectively as those tendrils do. Or perhaps it uses telekinesis, or even some sort of a shield or anti-magic effect. Also, let it use those tendrils like arms to pick up objects, to fend off blows, you know, pick up boulders and throw them. Just, yeah, use it as an improvised weapon to slap and bash it, move and drag people around wherever you see fit. That's its primary purpose in combat, is to control. Yeah, and have it call in allied goblins or kobolds or grimlocks, or, you know, its mind flayer buddy, and yeah, all that combined makes for a very interesting monster. It's a very cool monster to use, and I suggest you just be really creative and go nuts and use it to mess up your players.